Right, hello. We're back. We're doing the pulling apart this Coke scoot. So you've seen it on the other videos. I've been building it up, getting into its final form, and it's been like that for a couple of years now. So what we're going to do is pull it apart, and we're going to completely redo it basically. So I've got some new parts, and I've got some different panels, and all sorts. So yeah, let's get into it. Apologies for sounding a bit blur. The pollen count is pretty high at the moment. But yeah, this is the Coke scoot. You should remember it as pretty much as is. It's missing a few bits already, or I've started taking bits off and thought, maybe I should video this. But yeah, it's the full mark or Vision X, the wider plastics that come down lower here. And obviously I had to extend the wing, widen that out in previous videos. But I've taken this to retro rides for about 3 years like this now. It's been a lot of fun. Loads of people are enjoying it. And I've really enjoyed riding this around. And it's just time for a change. I've always wanted the shorter plastics with the different rear light. And yeah, it's just time to do a whole new livery. Make some changes. So this is all just placed on here because I was working on it earlier. Remove the seat, remove the wing, and I'll show you my new exhaust. There we go. So this is a Honda DJ1R exhaust, and obviously it's off a completely different scooter, but it all lines up. And it just literally just bolts straight in. And being an OEM, exhaust, it's really nicely made. I think the only thing I might have to do is just round these bolt holes out a little bit more, just to give it a little bit more adjustment. Or maybe when it's hot, I can bend it. But no, I'd rather just, it looks quite good where it's sat. I'll have to try it with the plastics on, make sure it all fits. But yeah, we're looking pretty cool. The Coke exhaust was good, but it was just way too loud. Looked really smart with a big chamber and that. But I think the chamber was slightly too big, but when it got on pipe, geez, it went like a stabbed rat. But this has got the bigger chamber, and because it's an OEM pipe, it's a lot quieter. But you've still got that kind of zing noise to it. It does sound pretty cool. So yeah, a bit less embarrassing noise-wise. And slightly more subtle looks. Yeah, I think that's a win-win. You can put these up on the auctions. I've seen them kind of as cheap as 15,000 yen. I think I paid about 25,000 yen for this, just because it was a tidy looking one. It wasn't rusty, and quite a nice little end piece, and nothing was bent, and just looked like it was going to go straight on and look quite tidy from the off. So yeah, it's got a little tip bit at the end. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Also, another change from the full mark, wider plastics is the rear light. So we're going from this disgusting, ugly, huge, thing to this much smaller unit, which is it's darker, looks cooler. Yeah, it's just really nice. It should have a bit of plastic that pops out here with the number plate on. I've got that. It's just being removed at the moment, so I'll stick that back on. These are the new panels I've got. Since terrible dark green shade at the moment, but they're pretty tidy. Just a couple of cracks here and there that I can fix and that. So this is obviously the big one. So it's got a different cutout for the rear light and this extra bit at the bottom. Don't mind this. This is where that big pipe come out the chamber, and so this one's nice. So just the rear light, it just sits on top of the rear light there, so you'll be able to see more of the engine. What I did have to do was get a new one of these, because where that KTM chamber came round, I had to cut a load of this out. So I've got another one of these from Japan. I didn't need to get it from Japan, there's no difference at all, but one just popped up and I was like, yep, I'll have it. Just test fitting this has already revealed a problem. It's very, very tight here so I might have to actually remove that screw. It does have two mounting points under here. One's missing from here, so I might have to remove that screw because it is quite tight. So I might have to just pull this out slightly and space it off here. But already, where I've actually pulled it over a little bit, the holes are lining up better. So I might actually try and bend it downwards a little bit and outwards a little bit. That should go on. It's a completely different look altogether already. It's nice. There's a few things you need to know when changing to the smaller rear light and plastics. Is that these pegs here, they only stick out about 20mm, like, and they need to come through here. If you can see it's kind of lost in there. There's no way of fixing this panel off. It just covers it up. So what I've done is ordered some, like, it's almost like a female version of the bolt. You can screw that on, and then you can screw a bolt down into that. So that will hold my spoiler and the rear plastics in place where they should be. And also, let's go this off. What there is under here is like a plastic section under here that goes under the rear frame and just catches all the mud and all sorts like that. But it also fixes the rear lights. So like down here, there's some fixings where it needs to go on. You can see here, that's where it used to fit on the old one. So I now need the plastic that goes underneath, and it just holds all like the CDI unit and some other gubbins the other side, some electronics and that. So yes, I need that bit. So I've just had to go bending out the exhaust. So that's probably about 15mm or so out at the top, and probably about 10mm or so out down the bottom. And now we've got plenty of clearance down here with the panel. Spot on. So now the plastics are on. There you go. Plenty of clearance between the panel. This shouldn't get too hot, really, with this little guard on it. Even this line, it's like it's made for it. Really good. But, so obviously the old spoiler is not going to work. So I've got this little one, which is quite a subtle one. It's a little bit shorter than I had before. And the idea with this build is just to be maybe a little bit more subtle, but delivery on it is still going to be quite out there. Yeah, definitely noticeable. But yeah, so it's going to go on somewhere like that. Fits really well. It's obviously been on a scoop before. See, it's got the little, I don't think I'm going to use quite as many screws in it. But yeah, just kind of adds to it. Gives a little bit of flair at the back there. That's going to be good. So the scoot is going to go mostly white, and these bits, these red parts, are all going to go green. So hopefully you guys can figure out the livery at some point. The wheels will be going bright white as well. So yeah, this evening I'll be mucking around with this front mudguard, and as you can see, I drew out a kind of shape of what I wanted to cut out, because we're going to cut this out and then mesh it. And I think it always looks pretty good on the Japanese ones you see, and no one's really done that over here in the UK yet, so we'll see how we go. But basically I was going to get the angle grinder out and cut all the straight bits and then just drill the corners, but I've actually found this is working quite well. I've just slanted the drill over and just so I've drilled all the holes just to connect them all up and drill them all out. Just been doing that, and actually it's got quite a nice straight line. So all I've got to do is just, sand it completely level. Once I'm done, I'll just tidy it up. But yeah, it's quite painless really. I'm sure everyone's shouting at me saying, why the hell are you doing this with the with the tyre just behind it? But yeah, I can't be asked messing around with all the bearings, taking off the front mudguard, because I've seen the ball bearings just fly everywhere. And I sprayed this stayed on the bike when I sprayed it, so no messing around. Just chuck some paint at it and we'll be done. I've been cracking on with this front mudguard and the cutouts, so I've now got them pretty much equal. Looks pretty good. And I cleaned up all the edges, so yeah, nice and rounded, come to a sharp point down here, rounded here, and leveled it all off. I was also sanded with the file this way, which makes this lip like appear thinner, so it doesn't look like a chunky kind of plastic. And then when the mesh goes in, it's going to look a bit weird, like a step. So I've just shaved all that off, so it just looks a bit nicer. And then the other side, yeah, just a little bit of finishing to do around here, and yeah, very pleased. So should look pretty cool. So I've had some more Aero turn up from Japan. So we got a 4-piece kit. It was just easier and cheaper to buy 4 bits in one go. It's quite well made, really. It's nice thick fiberglass, decent gel coat on it. So even got the mesh ready for the front mudguard, rear spoiler, nicely made again. And we've got the long nose, which is quite cool. It actually covers a little bit of the indicators as well on the top, so you just see this little section here. Pretty cool. Yeah, pleased with it. So just got to chuck these bits on. So this is the long nose, sat on a new headlight surround I've got, because the Coke one is going. So it fits quite nicely. Molds around the edges. I've just had to trim a little bit off the edge on the plastic and a little bit off the inner side of the long nose, but with a little bit of fettling it should fit pretty well. And you can see how much overhang there is for the indicators, which actually looks really cool. It just covers up this bit here, so it just has this, makes them like a slimline. Pretty cool. And then I like that it's already got both mirror holes cut, blocked off, so that saves me doing blanking one of them. And I'll open this one up for the right hand mirror. Yeah, it's hard to show with one hand, but yeah, should work out cool. A little bit of fettling just on the ends to get it fit in mint. I'm not sure whether to stick it together and then get it painted, or have them painted in 2 separate pieces. I'll have to work that bit out. I'm guessing fit it, and then possibly, maybe if I'm really can be asked, filler, join up this edge so it covers it up, but probably be fine, to be honest. Just sat on top. Yeah. This is the spoiler. Slid on. Does fit quite nicely. Pretty good around the back and the rear light. It comes down here and just stops there. Yeah, it carries on the body line nicely. It's a little bit longer than the other one I've got, and I'm not sure if it doesn't quite line up where these holes are. They're going to need to be, unless they cut them out, but it's got these 2 little dimples. Looks like where the holes should be. But yeah, I've got this other one here, which is, it's a lot lighter. I think it's thinner fiberglass, but still, this is quite nice. It's a little bit more rounded. It's a little touch like stubbier. It's only probably about 20-30 mil, but this one's a lot squarer at the back. This one's a lot more rounded. I think I might stick with this gold one. So I just want it a little bit more subtle. The last iteration of this bike, you know, the Scoot, had a big slab of a spoiler on the back, like this one, but I widened it, so it was quite a big step on the back. I think it'd be quite nice to run just a little stubby little tail, a little bit more subtle. So yeah, this white one, probably sell it on. As you can see, I've been busy. So the only bit left of the Coca-Cola Scoot is now this front mud guard and the red plastics. Oh, and the dial decal. But the rest of it has all gone off to its new owner, and he's going to enjoy the Coke livery for a bit, and then he's going to change it to something else. I won't say what. So I've had to buy some new panels. So I've got a new front bit from Japan. These two new side panels I got from Finley for quite cheap. They're a little bit beat up, and there's a couple of mounting tabs that are broken. So I've actually got another side fairing. Got one for this side, just need to get the other side with the lock. Or is it the opposite? I think it's this side I've got. And yeah, so the Aero fits really nice. This underbelly bit fits really well. So I'll have to put up what the guy's Yahoo Auctions username was, because really nice bit of kit this. It was like a 4-piece kit you could buy. Obviously you saw it laid out in the garden earlier, and it's really nice quality. So you get all the bits with it that you need really to get yourself going, and obviously the long nose. So I've been messing around with the wiring here, and annoyingly I found out that because my bike is an early bike, the fuel gauge and a few other bits run different cabling. So this is the JDM clocks. Literally the only difference to look at is obviously kilometers an hour, but you've got this little Japanese here for high beam. This is got the optional tick tock little noise maker. It's when the indicators are on, so they just wire straight in. So on the other side we have got some slight differences. We've actually got an extra wire going into this main plug anyway than we did have on this one, on the UK one. So we've got, this is the early clocks, this is the late clocks. So I'm going to have to common up some earths and commons. I think you can get these bullet connectors to double up, go from 2 to 1, because that's what these are. They actually do make them. You can see in there, that's a double bullet connector going to one single cable. So yeah, a little bit faffing, and hopefully we should have the Japanese clocks on the go. Oh, and also I've got another Napoleon mirror. This one's obviously seen some harsh sunlight. It's gone really dry. Plastic is like super dry. But we've got the Napoleon made in Japan. There's a slightly bigger mirror. It's got this little rubber boot here, and it's squared off here. These are quite cool. There's a picture of a Scoot that's got this all in motion. I think this is all white. This might be in black, and possibly this bit in black. But it's got a little bow, like a vinyl bow, and it's really cool. And I've always wanted to replicate that, so I might do that for this one. Also, obviously, I've got my other Napoleon little mirror here, slightly smaller square one, so I'll probably get that sprayed up in the same colour as this one. So I've got a choice of mirrors. Just working on the long nose at the moment, so it needs holding down in a few places. Obviously it's not perfect for the money, it's not absolutely spot on, but it's pretty close. So I just drilled a couple of holes, held it in place with a couple of self tappers in the places it needed holding, so it's perfectly in the right place now. It just needs sticking down. So I'm going to stick that down, and then this gap along here, I'm just going to use the spot and filler, just go along and seal that gap in and make it all nice and neat. It's pretty much maybe just smoothing this little edge here. But, and then what I will do on this one, what I didn't do on my other one, was spray the inside of this black. I saw someone do that and it made such a difference to like the finish of it, not being able to see the inside of it being white as well. It looked really nice. So yeah, that's going to be happening. Obviously I'll have to drill out the hole for the mirror, but that's no biggie. That's pretty easy to do. That's all stuck down now, and screws done up nice and tight to hold it in place while it dries. My favourite stuff, Trade Seal PU40 black. So yeah, good stuff. That won't even take too long to go off, but I don't need to mess about with this tonight, so I'll let it do its thing. So after a bit of faffing, I've been taking apart these Speedos and making one really nice one out of both. I've used the UKDM clear cover, as it's a lot cleaner inside, and I've also swapped over the needles because they've seen, well, the Japanese ones, as soon as I touched them, they just completely fell apart, and they're so brittle where they've been out in the sun. So the UK ones obviously wouldn't get so much sun, so they're alright. But what I did have to do on the back here, because the sender is a 2-wire rather than the 3-wire, that this is the later clocks, I've had to borrow a negative, or this green one. I should use some green cabling really, get some else leaving on there. But yeah, so the green one goes there. You take off this blue and white, it's not needed, which was originally up there, and then you keep the blacks where they are, move the yellow one up there, and that one is now your green, and that makes the fuel gauge work. So that's pretty cool. And also, look, this is the tick-tock. That's for the indicators. Yeah, so I've got to put this back together now. Try and push all these wires back in here nicely, because they do get trapped in there, down in this bit. When you steer, it seems to, you don't want them rubbing on anything, so you have to be careful there. Also got some new tyres for the Scoop, because I checked the dates on the tyres of these ones, and that one was 2014, that one's 2015. So these are, this is the 10th week of 2023. So yeah, pretty brand new, seeing as we're July 23 now, time of filming. So these are Continental. They've got a really funky pattern on them, which I quite liked. And these are 3x10s, which is the size I'm running already. And yeah, looking forward to loads more grip. Even though these have been pretty good. These are Dunlop Scoot Smarts, and they do have quite a cool tread pattern. Almost quite a semi-slick looking kind of style. But yeah, we'll see how we got on with these. I've got the new tacked wheels coming over from Japan. They've been painted white, so they're just waiting for those to turn up, and then get them fitted and put them on. Apparently they're a bastard to fit, so I shall be letting someone else do that. Another Japanese item that turned up is this split variator cover. So, and this is the clutch cover. So in Japan, these are all split, which is pretty cool. So you can just take that off and replace the clutch bits. Quite easy, but it's always cool to have the JDM bits, isn't it? And this is a different kick that it's just got metal ribs on it, and it's shorter rather than the UK quite long, chunky, ugly looking thing. So yeah, that'll get painted. And so with this, I think I'm just going to go white with this. I was thinking about going polished, but it's not going to match anything else on the Scoot, so I'll probably just get powder coated white. Right, excuse the mess, it's absolute hellhole in here at the moment. It's a bit busy with all the wheels, but I'm making it work. So I've started taking off all the red panels, and I've been starting to paint stuff green. So I did a first coat last night, literally just brushing it on. I was going to do these coloured bits, just brushing it on, see how we go. I've got a nice fine brush, and strangely I've got this Dulux Weather Shield Buckingham, which is the green I kind of want to go for, but I've been adding just a little bit of black in it just to darken it down a bit, because if you can see, it's a different colour on the camera completely to what it is in real life, but it's a bit lighter. So I've already done like these bits like a bit. I didn't realise this one's got a crack in it, so I might have to look for a couple more. These always go for money on the auctions, but yeah. So I've already painted this one. It needs a second coat, so I've just gone over with the Scotch pad and just scuffed it all up. Needs a little bit more over here just to flatten it down. The brush I used to start with had some little bits in it, annoyingly, so I'm just gonna have to give that a little brush. I'm not looking for perfection, as long as it's green and not red and relatively smooth. I'm not too fussed, but yeah, these bits come off. They come off quite easy, really. I'm sure on some people's scoots these ones might be a bit rusted, and obviously one of mine I had to cut off and twist out the bolt, but it was all good. They're quite easy to take out. Like these little bits have little locating pins that sit under there, so you just have to lift that up. You take out this plate first, which is just those four bolts on the bottom, and it just kind of slides forward and out, and then you can get to this bit, which it just has one inside the glove box just there, and then you just take out the what plugs into this, which has got like a little, if I turn this over, it's just got a little screw just down in there. Just how you loosen that off to get the wiring plug out. So yeah, all the Coke stuff is coming off now. Couple of bits painted, going well so far. Pretty glossy. I'll probably spray these over the top with some petrol resistant lacquer, because I'm a bit of a moron when I fill everything up with petrol. It always goes bloody everywhere. So yeah, I'll chuck some of that on. Being at it again. So this time I've painted the seat, and this is actually more of the green shade I was after. A slightly darker green. This Buckingham green is a little bit light. It's actually a bit lighter, it looks on the camera. It's a little bit darker in person, but this is more the shade I was going for. So I've been rollering again, changing the seat colour after fitting the green bits. I did order some of this, a different vinyl paint this time. It's just a Chinese one off eBay that I could find. Not many green ones. This is like a kind of quite a dark turquoisey sort of shade. So I thought I'd just mix it with the Dulux. Not sure if it's water based and oil based, but it didn't like mixing at first, but now it's all right. So I've just you can kind of see the colour shade. So this is more the Krispy Kreme sort of colour. This is a little bit too bright, so I might repaint these another green, but we'll see. Chucked a bit of a spotting filler on to seal the gap, and I'm just giving it a little sand up. So yeah, so much nicer just finishing that edge off. Needs a little bit more over the top, but in little places. But yeah, just fills in that gap and just makes it into one. Need to do something with the end bits. Yeah. What I've also done as well is actually spray the inside of this black, because it looks so much better. It's kind of gives it like just an OEM plus kind of finish, where it's dark in the peak. And the headlight can obviously go in there. Hey!